here today with Lou Segal, who is the discoverer, the founder of a unique botanical extract which he called K17. How are you doing today, Lou?
Pleased to meet you, Kim.
Pleased to meet you as well. So tell me about, what's your background?
Well, I started off as a pharmacist in Cape Town, South Africa. And at pharmacy school, I realized that there's more in what we were learning than that we really would just take for granted. I was interested in botany subject and pharmacognosy, which is the study of plants and the plant life and how medicine is made from plants. The other guys in the same school were interested in just getting out, qualifying, and dispense. But I saw further. I realized there must be more in it. And when I qualified, I opened a pharmacy. But my interest was in making medicines over the counter so people could come in with any condition that they have, I could help them. And I got results. I had my own hair tonics, hair preparations, skin preparations. But it wasn't until there was a invitation to go on a tour, on a safari tour. And this tour took us to East Africa. And during the tour was included the visitations of various tribal people and the way they do their rituals to get rid of evil spirits. They are so obsessed with evil spirits that they know that when the spirits are in their bodies, they don't feel well, they feel unhappy. So they want to find ways of exorcising the spirits. On the trip, we visited these various tribes, and I was amazed to see how many different ways they found of getting rid of the spirits. They would basically do things that even hurts them. For example, there is one group who sit around a bonfire and hit each other with stick with branches, trying to push out the spirits. Others would do other various things. But there's one group in particular that I noticed had beautiful, healthy-looking hair, and the lady particularly had young-looking skin, radiant skin, which was unlike the other tribes who were just a few miles away. This tour was seen by many people over many years, but nobody noticed this difference. I'll never forget, on the bus tour we had there, we were about 50 miles away from this last visitation, when I realized I missed something. I want to go back to the tribe and to try and get hold of a bucket of this stuff. But we were 50 miles away, and we was a crowd who were going on a holiday. So I pleaded with everybody on the bus, please, let's go back 50 miles. We're on holiday, if you don't mind. I need to see this chief of the tribe. Anyhow, they all agreed we're on a holiday, so we can do it. I went back and I asked the chief, do me a favor. Make me a bucket of the stuff, which it did. I took it with me, and I held on to this with my life. On the way back to Cape Town, South Africa, I was confronted by a very unusual event when I was asked by the customs official what I was carrying in this bag that I had in my hand. I was very worried in case it was a bucket of mud. What can I say? So I said to him, oh, it's just some mud that I collected as a souvenir. He says, and I know the Afrikaners, they're very rough. He says, open up. I said, no, I don't have to open up, it's just a bucket of mud. Okay, he says, give me the value. The value? $1. He says, okay, $1, 25 cents. Gave me a receipt for 25 cents. That was my souvenir, the 25-cent receipt was my souvenir. Anyhow, when I got back to Cape Town, to my pharmacy, I had a small laboratory at the back of my pharmacy, and I experimented with this extract. And I added certain percentages of it to all my other products that I had. And it took me 17 attempts, that's why we call it case 17. 17 attempts to get down to find the right formulation. Eventually I got it right, and I gave it to my customers as they walked in, who needed some treatment for the faces or hair products, hair problems. One guy comes in, his name was Mr. Fowler. He said, are you Mr. Siegel? Are you Dr. Siegel? They called me doctor because I was to make medicines for him over the counter. I said, yes. And he's wearing a hat. So I said, what can I do for you? So he said, look, he says, you make this extract called, say, K17. I've tried it. It worked. I said, it's grown my hair. I said, I myself was skeptical. So I said to him, listen, take off your hat. Took his hat off, and he had a beautiful crop of hair. I still didn't believe him. I said, how do I know that you're just coming in just to praise yourself or for other purposes? How do I know that you were bald? He took out his passport, and I could see that the guy had no hair. I said, very nice. I wasn't convinced still. I said, tell me, can I phone your doctor? I want to make sure I'm not being fooled here. So he said, well, he gave me the doctor's number. I said, fine, I'll phone the doctor. I said, sit down for a few minutes, I'll phone the doctor. Phone the doctor. And he said, yes, Mr. Fowler is my patient. I said, tell me, doctor, was he bald? He says, he's been bald since I've known him. He's been bald for 5, 6 years. And suddenly this guy's grown hair. I said, are you Mr. Siegel? I said, yes. And she said, you used some product or something called K17 or something. I said, yes, that's my product. He says, well, he has grown hair. I said, doctor, can you give me a certificate that this guy was bald? He sent it to me. Having established that, passport, doctor confirmed, I said, I've got something here. I thought to myself. I didn't tell him, but I thought to myself, I've got something here. I said, do you mind coming with me to the newspapers and to report this? Oh, sure, Dr. Siegel, I'll do so. Yeah, by me, I was wasting no time, take advantage while the tide is there. The guy's with me. Took him to the Sunday Times newspaper, which is the leading newspaper in South Africa. It's got a circulation of about 2 million. I walk in there, I said, can I speak to the editor? I said, what's it about? I said, I've just got some news for you. I come in, there's 2 of them, two reporters. I said, look, I've got Mr. Fowler. He's lost his hair, he's grown his hair, he's used my product, and there he has all evidence. There's his passport, his doctor certificates. Story over to you. They would look at him and says, this is great, wow, this is great. He interviewed Mr. Fowler. This was on Friday afternoon. On Sunday morning, I pick up the newspaper, wow, frontline, headlines. Pharmacist discovers by accident a new product for growing hair. Mr. Fowler's story. And Fowler tells his story. Yes, he says he's grown his hair. He's now worried he's got to pay for haircuts. His wife is worried about him because the girls are looking at him. And he's concerned, and this and the whole full page of the stuff. Another customer comes in at a later stage. A woman who was in about her 40s and she couldn't get married. She was upset and she had a bad skin. I gave her the other product I made using the same extract course, I had to work out certain parts of the extract used for the hair and certain parts for the skin. So I had to work out which was the ones for the hair and which for the skin. That took me 20 times before I discovered it. She started using it and came back and her skin was beautiful. And she told me, you know, I look so good and I feel so good, I've actually found a boyfriend. But so many stories, it was unbelievable. And then I get a call from a professor of the University of Medicine, from the university. He said, look, Mr. Siegel, I'm using your stuff and it's helping me. I said, as a professor of medicine, I'm so pleased to hear that. I said, come on, I'd like to talk to you about this. I went to see him at his office. I said, you know, I'm a pharmacist, I'm a pharmacognosist. I know about medicine and how it comes from. But I myself cannot understand. I'm using this natural thing from the earth, plants, leaves, roots and leaves, and can you help me to understand this? He said, look, Mr. Siegel, you cannot describe nature. It's a mother of nature, it's an act of nature, it's a secret of nature. Let's not analyze it, let's not go into it, let's accept it as something wonderful, and you're lucky to have developed it. And good luck to you. And yeah, eventually, the problems in South Africa became traumatic, and we're thinking of leaving. Daryl, my son Daryl, who is now with me in business, he just qualified, and he also wanted to leave. My son, who's a doctor, just qualified as a doctor, he left, and he left for Canada, and he writes me a letter that he's got a job at Vancouver General Hospital in Canada, in Vancouver. I said, where's Vancouver? I thought Vancouver was somewhere in Iceland. Canada was in Iceland, you know. Eventually, he stayed there, and he was a pioneer. Now, Daryl was due to go to the army. In South Africa, there was conscription. When a guy had two options: you go to the army when you're 16 and you leave school, or you take a profession and then you leave. Now, Daryl just finished pharmacy and he wanted to leave as well. So we packed up and we left. But I wasn't worried, and we couldn't take any money out because the apartheid government introduced a law called exchange control. Very stringent law, and if you violate it, you're a big problem. So you could get no money out and had to start all over again. So here I was in Canada with my family, starting all over again, but I wasn't worried. I had this wonderful extract, which I used, and we got back into business very quickly, which I gave to Daryl. My son Daryl is a pharmacist, and he's developing it further. He's done a very good job. As such, he's become a master formulator, and he's doing very well, and I'm there to support him.
I'd like to thank Lou Siegel, pharmacist, the discoverer of K17, a very unique botanical extract, for joining me today and sharing his story about how he discovered K17. Thank you so much, Lou, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.